There's this reporter over at CBS who looks at her colleagues with like a totally straight face. And when they ask her, what was the most underreported story of the year? I mean, she doesn't have a choice now. You got to call it like you see it at this point if you want to seem like you got any credibility. And here she is, Jan Crawford, saying, yeah, I'd have to say that the Biden cover-up was probably the biggest deal.
One of the things we also do in the year-end correspondence roundtable is dig into what was undercovered or underreported. Jan?
Undercovered, underreported. That would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate.
At the presidential debate with Donald Trump.
Unquestioned. And, you know, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years. And yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election. Yet, still, incredibly, we read in the Washington Post that his advisors are saying that he regrets that he dropped out of the race. You know, that he thinks he could have beaten Trump. And I think that is either delusional or they're gaslighting.
President Biden has said repeatedly he was sick during the debate June 27th in Atlanta, and he's always been fine, and he leaves fine. That is his position, the position of many of his top aides as well, even though there is that reporting.
Robert Costa.
Like, they don't want to admit it. They still don't want to admit it. That one guy who's like, well, this is their reporting, this is their reporting. Well, shame on them. Those people that are around him are not doing him any favors at all, nor the country any favors. I mean, if you actually wanted to do the right thing for the country, what would you have done? You would have allowed him to be primaried. You would have gotten somebody else in. Instead, you got a Jimmy Carter 2.0 situation all over again. I told you it would happen. God bless his soul, right? Jimmy Carter dead at 100 years old. We're going to talk about that later. But when you think of the manipulation of the media over the last 4+ years, because it started back in 2016, I'd argue actually, given that I've been around it since the year 2000, it started a long time ago. There is only one sort of route that you're supposed to take, and that's to the left. And that's what's really scary. It just reached a crescendo. That's the word I was looking for earlier. It reached a crescendo, and that's what's terrifying.